Good evening and a very warm welcome to Between the Headlines Broadcasting. Live from London, stay with us for our roundup of the week in print and discussion of a selection of articles in today's British and continental European newspapers. I'm Jan Fosgaard and my guests tonight are Jonathan Fryer, a writer and broadcaster, and Dr. Wafiq Mustafa, chairman of the Arab Conservative Network here in the United Kingdom. Don't forget to text or email us your views. Our text message number is +44 78 00 008086 and our email address bth@presstv.co.uk. Please keep those messages coming in. We take note of your comments and I'm going to be reading out one of your emails in connection with one of our stories. Starting off with the week in print, let's cast our minds back to Monday as we whiz through these newspapers. The Financial Times has the Chinese Prime Minister on the front page when looks at fresh stimulus to stimulate the Chinese economy, which is also in trouble, as we know. The ideas are massive infrastructure spending, handouts to consumers, which Beijing was taking to ensure economic growth reached around 8%. That's what they're aiming to get, 8% this year. Well, good luck to him. Of course, Tuesday's papers are dominated by Monday's big story in the United Kingdom, which was the massive snowfall that brought Britain to a complete standstill that shut schools for 2 days or more. The Guardian, day the snow came and Britain stopped. A man sitting on a park bench aside one snowman and one snow child by the looks of things. Roads, airports, railways closed. Heaviest snow in 18 years. Storm likely to cost UK over £1 billion pounds. That's about 1.7 billion US dollars. The Wednesday's Daily Telegraph, backlash against the school closures, so still the weather news here in Britain. Teachers must show grit. A play on words there. Grit, of course, the stuff they put down on the roads to stop the roads from being slippery, and the idea that teachers should get back to work. A predictable headline in the Telegraph. Thursday's Independent. Again, troubles on the British High Street, an economic story here. For sale, the British High Street Icelandic Group with major holdings in more than 20 chains faces meltdown. And those are some of the shops that are possibly affected by this, including Hamleys, the famous toy shop in Regent Street. So that was Thursday's Independent. Friday's The Guardian. This one, House of Lords, rise of CCTV as threat to freedom. This is all about closed-circuit television cameras around Britain, apparently a threat to freedom. According to the House of Lords, world's most pervasive surveillance undermines basic liberties, say peers, meaning lords. And the picture on the right here, this was a big story in the UK. Someone who worked for Human Rights Watch, having apparently supposedly disclosed, having had information disclosed to her by a colonel serving Afghanistan, who is now being recalled to Britain for questioning. So that was that one. Saturday's Independent looked like this. The weekend wipeout. Again, the big weather problems across the country. So that was the week to Saturday. Let's take a look at a couple of stories in today's papers, starting with the French paper. Let's look across the channel, see what they're reporting in France. This one is un parti proche de l'Iran sort affaibli des élections provinciales en Iraq. A party close to Iran has emerged weakened, having come second in the provincial elections in Iraq. The response from Tehran was that Iran never puts its eggs all in one basket anyway. It has supporting several parties in the country with which it has good relations. So this doesn't really affect Iran too much, at least that's the point of view. Well, why do you think they went for this particular angle on the provincial election story, Jonathan?
Well, I guess they were, sort of trying to make the subject a bit sexier as far as the readers were concerned, basically, because for many people outside the Middle East, one of the key issues is the supposed involvement of Iran in Iraqi and regional politics. and by giving this spin to the story, they were making it, I suppose, of more interest. Actually, it's not the way I would have written, I have to say, because I think the really interesting thing about the story is that this party, which had been arguing for a much greater deal of autonomy for the Shia areas, for Shia areas to follow the example of Kurdistan,
Yes.
has basically got a giant raspberry from the population, and the government of al-Maliki has had really quite a strong endorsement.
Yes, which is perhaps good news for Iraq, would you say, Wafi?
I would say it's a very good news and shows that the Iraqi people really are becoming democratic. They think about their country. They want their country to be united, to be one Iraq, not Shia Iraq or Sunni Iraq or even Kurdish Iraq. So I think it's a very good news for the region as a whole. And as well, it shows that people, when they're given the chance to vote and to exercise their right, they vote for their own country. And even the Iranian influence, you could say, seemed diminished. And Iran seemed quite happy with what took place in Iraq, free elections.
Right, so Iran is happy with us, and you're saying Iraqis are happy too. Al-Maliki has said that people, that the election showed that people voted according to, voted on the programs of the candidates, on the programs, on the policies of the candidates, rather than on their own personal allegiances, on their own ethnicity or their own religious persuasions. I mean, do you think that's, yeah?
I think it's something really very important, because everybody assumed that the Iraqi will vote on ethnic or religious lines